That's all I've done. I'm working on my 11th take there. Okay. What's your name?
Elma, E-L-M-A, Ruth, Hazelbaker, Boyd,
B-O-D-D.
B-O-Y-D.
B-O-Y-D, what did I say? When were you born, Miss Boyd?
8/25/21.
All right. Just keep this with your stuff, and when your descendants find this 200 years from now, they'll know that you are on tape 11.
Okay.
And they'll go right down to the library and see you there.
Okay.
All right. Now, Miss Boyd, you told me your name, Emma Boyd, and your date of birth. Where were you born?
Buena Vista.
Buena Vista, Ohio.
Correct.
Okay. And your present address here is
2026 High Street.
in Portsmouth, Ohio.
Yeah.
Okay. And what was your occupation?
I was a registered nurse.
Were you a
Right.
nurse? Okay. And did you retire as a nurse then? When you
Yes.
retired, you were a nurse.
Right.
How long had you been a nurse?
I graduated in 44 and I retired from nursing at the age of 69.
Okay. And how much education then do you have? You have obviously a nursing school.
Right.
Okay. Where did you go to nursing school?
At Portsmouth General Hospital.
Oh, that's General Hospital down on the side of trail here, isn't it?
Correct.
I was born in that building,
Oh.
yeah, like a lot of other people around here. It's different now, isn't it?
Right.
Now, are you married, single, widowed, divorced, separated?
Divorced.
Okay. And do you have any children?
I have one son,
Okay. And what is his name?
Douglas Allen Boyd,
Douglas Boyd. Where does he live?
in Sandusky, Ohio.
All right. Does he have any children?
I have 8 grandchildren, 2 great-grandchildren.
Oh, gracious. Let me ask you this then now. What were your parents' names?
My mother's name was Rose Grimes Hazelbaker
Mm-hmm.
Zender.
Mm-hmm.
My father's name is Herschel Lee Hazelbaker.
Okay. Now, do you know their parents' names, starting with your father?
My father was,
This would be your
His-
grandfather, wouldn't it? Your grandfather,
my grandfather was Lloyd Hazelbaker.
Lloyd.
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 L-O-Y.
L-O-Y.
And my grandmother's name was Elma Blanche Hazelbaker. She was at Sutterfield before
Okay.
she was married.
Okay. Now, your mother's parents' names.
Grandmother's name was Ruth May.
Mhm.
I'm not certain about the,
Grandfather?
grandfather.
Okay.
But-
Was May her maiden name?
It was M-A-Y. That
Uh-huh.
was a family name
Okay.
from Ironton area.
From Ironton?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm almost afraid to ask you, of your 8 grandchildren, do you know their names?
Douglas Jr., Benjamin, Michael Grace, Aaron, Melissa, Brittany, Andrew Scott, I'm leaving somebody out, but I'm not sure which one.
That's all right. That happens all the time. I know
And
that.
then the great-grandchildren is Zachary and Derek.
Zachary and Derek.
Mm-hmm.
Boyd.
Right.
Okay. What does your son do?
My son was employed at the N&W Railroad.
N&W Railroad. Now, is he retired now?
Yes.
Okay. Now, for those who would be interested, then, do you know your ex-husband's parents' names?
No,
Okay.
I just know that his name, William Kermit Boyd, and he was from Marion, Ohio.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, you were in the service, weren't you?
Yes,
Okay, were you in the Army?
yes,
And as a nurse?
yes.
Okay. Now, when did you graduated from nursing school when? 1944?
44.
What was the date? Do you remember?
And in August of 11th,
August
1944.
11th.
Right.
Okay. And then, when did you go into the service?
Went in service in March.
Okay. You have some records there?
Yes.
So that would be March of 1945 then.
Yes,
Okay. Did you work before you went into the service?
yes.
Okay. Where did you work?
I worked in OB
Locally at,
at the General Hospital.
okay, also at the hospital you
Yes.
graduated from? Oops,
Right.
there's a book there.
It's 22nd of March, 1945.
1945, okay. Well now, is this what we call,
My physical.
okay. Now, when did you get out of the service?
I
When were
was
you
discharged 24th of June in 1946.
Okay. What was your rank when you went into the service?
As second lieutenant.
And what was your rank when you got out?
I was first lieutenant.
Okay. Now, when you went into the service, where did you do what an enlisted person would call basic training?
Yeah.
Where did you first go?
Fort Knox.
How long were you there?
I'm not sure of the time. It would just be an estimate.
Mm-hmm.
I would say about 3 months,
Okay.
and then we were transferred to Nichols General
Where's that?
outside Louisville.
What's the name of it? Nichols?
General.
Is it still there?
I have no knowledge of
Okay.
that.
When you were at Fort Knox, were you at what they call Ireland Army Hospital?
We didn't work in the hospital.
Okay.
Sometimes we'd go and take temperatures
Okay.
just to get the basic Army skill that they required of us, knowledge of what was needed at the time.
Okay.
We had no other contact with patients.
I see.
We mostly went through gas drills,
Oh.
marching,
Uh-huh.
get in line to wait for the mail,
Right. That's an important drill.
and go to the movies in the evening.
I was stationed at Fort Knox too. I worked at Ireland Army Hospital. That was a
Mhm.
big hospital there.
Mhm.
So then after you went to Nichols, how long were you there? Nichols Hospital in Louisville?
I was there until December.
December of 45? Okay.
Correct.
Now, did you go overseas any?
In Puerto Rico.
You went to Puerto Rico?
Right.
Is that from Nichols then you went to Puerto Rico or what?
Yes,
Okay. Where in Puerto Rico did you go?
San Juan.
Uh-huh.
At
And
El Morocco.
what was it called?
El Morocco.
El Morocco General Hospital? Or-
Yes,
okay.
it's the area there.
What kind of nurse were you in the service? Did they have that type of thing?
Occasionally we would do private duty. Sometimes I would be what they call, we had patients who, at that time, penicillin was new, and we'd have a big stretcher,
Uh-huh.
and we would fill 5cc syringes and then go down the hall and give patients their medication,
Mhm.
1cc.
Mhm.
And we'd have maybe 20 patients on one ward, maybe 25 on another.
I see.
And then we'd go back to our basic area and fill syringes and clean ones and start out again.
Now, the syringes you had were glass, weren't they?
They were glass, and we just changed the needles.
Changed the needles.
Yeah, I don't recall that we, actually you're taught to aspirate, but we were given in the deltoid muscle of the, and but
Penicillin was new,
new,
and it must have seemed miraculous to have that
Right.
medication.
right, very. There was a need for it
Uh-huh.
because of infections and patients that were injured that had been in the European theater.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. You treated soldiers,
Yes.
military
Oh, yes.
people. Okay, and these are soldiers that had been in the combat, that had been in the war in Europe.
Right.
Okay. When you're seeing that, how did you relate to them? I mean, were there some cases that were rather heart-wrenching for you, or?
Occasionally, I had one patient that I remember who had what they call tantalum plate. I don't remember names, but this patient had been stationed in Tennessee, or at least from Tennessee. He was injured, a head injury, so they had to remove part of the skull and put in this tantalum plate. He was allergic to it. He had had 13 surgeries. They put it in and then it started draining and they couldn't heal it. So he was still a patient when I left that area.
Mm-hmm. He had it pretty rough. It sounded.
Right, and then I had a patient who was he had signed in early, lied about his age.
Oh.
He was a POW in Europe, and I can still remember he came back and his toes had frozen and the Germans had taken him off without any medication or anesthetic. And the Red Cross was very helpful to him. They contacted his family, they brought him necessities that he needed, toothpaste and stationery, things that, to give him some encouragement. And I thought it was nice.
Did most of the soldiers that were in the European theater?
Right.
You never treated anybody from the Pacific theater, did you?
I
Maybe
don't
that'd be
recall
rare.
any.
Okay.
I treated one patient who had been a commanding officer in my brother's paratrooper, 101st Airborne.
Oh, really?
And he had had a neck injury, and he had red hair.
What was his
We
name?
had him, he was like from, it was divided into areas, and we were like the 5th Corps. And the patients we had were like from Tennessee, Kentucky and all. But I think he was from West Virginia, but he was in a iron lung.
Oh, I see.
So he didn't make it.
What was his name? Do you recall?
I have no recollection of name.
Okay. But he was in the 101st
Yes,
Airborne,
right,
and your brother was in that too?
correct.
Okay. Your brother, what happened to him? Did he make it back all right?
He made it back okay.
Oh.
He would tell me stories, and some were, I don't care to repeat them, but, some of the bad things that happened. One especially was the fact that he was in the Battle of the Bulge, and he always said he had one bullet left.
Oh,
And
meaning
he's
for
got-
himself, I suppose.
Didn't, inquire.
Is he passed away now?
Yes, he has.
Okay. When did he pass away?
On his birthday, July the 10th,
I see.
1988.
What was his name?
Robert Lee Hazelbaker.
Robert Lee.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, now, how long were you in Puerto Rico? Were you
From these-
discharged from Puerto Rico, or?
Yes.
Okay.
No, the sign came up, you could go home, and I wanted to come home.
Were you homesick?
I was homesick, and my brother was home, and,
Oh, yes.
I wanted to come home.
How many siblings did you have? Just a brother?
One.
That
Oh,
was-
my brother and my sister.
Okay. How old was your sister at this time? What was she doing?
She was working for Dr. Smith.
Okay. Was she a nurse?
No.
Okay. She was like an office person.
Right.
Okay. And is she still living, or?
No, just lost her.
Okay, that's right. That's what you're doing. Now, you were discharged from Did you like Puerto Rico?
Oh, yes. Yes.
I've always wanted to go. I hear the beaches are nice.
Mm-hmm. Very
Okay.
nice.
Now, did you like the Army?
Yes. It was routine, and at that, you like someone telling you what to do,
Oh, really?
what time to be someplace, and
Uh-huh.
our recreation was exceptional. We had our own bowling alley, we had our own PX, we had our golf course, we had our officers club. We also had contact with the Navy personnel and would attend over
You had
there.
dances and things to go
Right,
to?
right.
Okay. So you after your work day was finished, you could pretty much go where you wanted to?
Right, right,
Okay. And that would be in San Juan, you say?
right.
Okay.
Our biggest problem was the language. We would have to serve the meals from a food cart
Uh-huh.
and go along and you'd ask them, and I'd ask somebody, to pronounce in the name of the article in Spanish so that I would know, because a lot of them weren't that educated that they could speak English and Spanish. So they told me the name for soup was sopa. By the time I got to the 10th patient, I was saying, "Soupa?"
Super.
Right.
Okay. Well, did they understand you by that time?
No, I understood myself.
Okay,
I
that
realized
was about
I
it.
made an error.
Did you happen to treat any German prisoners?
No,
Okay.
but we had the ship that we sailed out of New Orleans was a gray battleship. We couldn't, portholes were covered. There was still that possibility of a submarine in that area.
Maybe you hadn't heard the news or something. But when did you get to Puerto Rico, by the way? When
It
did
was sometime in December.
December of '45.
Right.
Okay. Let's see, I'm asking. Now, did you have you kept in contact with some of the people that you met in the service?
No.
Okay. And when you came home, what did you do?
I went to work at hospital at it was at that time it was called Smith Avenue. They were
Down here
Put
at
open,
yeah,
right.
Okay, that was a new hospital at that time, wasn't
right.
it? Okay, Smith Everett, was that opened by a couple of doctors named
Right.
Smith and Everett?
Right.
I think I remember something about that. Did you work there? Then how long did you work
Until I was married in
there? Okay,
the following September.
all right. Have you been involved in any veterans organizations or anything like that? Or?
I belong to the Legion,
Okay.
and I'm a member of the White Shrine, Eastern Star,
Okay.
and I'm a former member of the BPW. I volunteer at the hospital, and I belong to the Hope Guild.
Okay. You have a few things around here. Is there something you wanted to share with me here? Or?
I wanted to get on record
Uh-huh.
the name of nurses who were graduates from General Hospital who
Good.
were in service.
Oh, great.
Beatrice Shaw was in the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
These are nurses who graduated before me.
Okay. Beatrice Shaw.
Right.
Okay. Is she still living?
I have no knowledge.
Okay.
The ones who were in the Army was Juanita Whittick Lane.
Uh-huh.
She is at Hillview now.
Okay.
Her husband was a lieutenant colonel in service.
Okay.
Margene Pitzer Mock, and she is in Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
Betty Davis, who has passed away, and at one time there was a published picture of her dumping flak out of a boot.
Oh.
It was by the Associated Press, they call it,
Mm-hmm. AP.
and that was in our local
That was
paper.
her. Okay.
Right. Then there's also Lorraine Sloas, and when the war had ended, she stayed a year later in Germany to
Oh.
help with the organization of things.
All right.
And then myself.
Yourself. Okay. Well, listen. This lady that's at Hillview, Juanita Whittick Lane.
Yes.
Well-
I have talked to her, and she
Oh, have
said
you?
she doesn't remember too many things.
Uh,
So she didn't seem interested.
Maybe I could take you along with me, and we can kind of Shanghai or something. What do you think?
Possible.
Okay. How long has she been at Hillview?
7 or 8 years.
Is she from the Sodaville area? Sodadale or?
I
Dale?
lived with her parents when I went in service and when I passed state board.
Uh-huh.
And
Where was it?
I think originally they may have been from Oak Hill or South Webster area. I'm not sure.
Okay. But
I
when you
know her
lived
husband was, I think.
when you lived with them, where was that?
On the corner of Kenny's Lane and
Down here.
Trail. Mm-hmm.
Okay. You've talked to. She didn't seem too excited then. Huh?
No.
Well, maybe we can do that anyway. Why don't you talk to her some more and give me a call then?
Okay.
And we'll do something here. Is this something I could read? Maybe.
I belonged also to the Writers Club.
The Writers Club?
Right, and I wrote some stories, and
Have you had
they said that one was too long, so I condensed
Oh.
it, and it's in another book here,
Oh, okay.
the condensed version.
All right, let's take a look at that one.
Well, I should have had the page out here. Oh, I do have.
Whose book is this?
This is mine.
I mean, who's published this book?
We did.
We, being...
A group.
Okay, what group?
The
Writers-
Writers Group.
Okay, is
Memory
this
Makers.
a...
The
Is this,
Memory Makers.
oh, is this a local group?
Yes, it's
Oh.
down, we were down at the library,
Uh-huh.
and they had some changes, and so they were going to start charging us, and we do this,
Oh, you mean the library is going to charge a writing group?
yes, they're going to charge us $10 to use the room. I think they just,
Where do you meet now?
we're going to meet down at the university.
All right. For free.
Yes,
They know a good thing.
they're very accommodating. They have
Good.
pencils out there for us, and microphone, and
Where's your story?
right there. Page
Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to just read this.
Okay,
World War II by
Elma.
I'm sorry. World War II by Elma, Ruth Boyd. The government needed replacement nurses who had 3 years tour of duty. They said they would soon have to draft, but it was never a reality. To the tune of Sentimental Journey, 30 nurses and 2 dietitians received orders for the 161st General Hospital in Puerto Rico. The vision of the moss-covered stone wall and turrets are still vivid in my memory. The island was a historic mix of the 17th century, a jewel of the Caribbean, blend of Spanish, European, American, African, and Indian influences. My embarrassing incident was when we got a new commanding officer on our post. Orders were to report in full Army dress for a reception, then go through the line, salute, and state your name and rank. This I did, but the new officer said in a gruff voice, "Lieutenant Baker." Oh no, he thought, I was telling him my first name. I really was First Lieutenant Hazelbaker. I just moved on down the line. The experience and opportunity to serve in the military was a satisfying event, but I was glad to return to civilian life and eventually shorten my last name to Boyd. Hey, that's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. Volume 2. When did the first volume come out?
Well, we had a book the year before,
Mhm.
and then we haven't published any more since then.
Okay.
But we got her name on Oprah.
Oh, you did not.
Yes.
You've been on Oprah?
We sent her a book. We hope that she'll,
Really?
yeah, and then put
She
her,
mentioned
and
it?
Put, and put her murals on. But we haven't, gotten any
Gotten a response?
back,
yet?
feedback on it yet.
Let's see who the other authors are in here. Maybe I know some people. Here
There
we
they are.
go. Judy Bayless. Sounds familiar to me. Judy Frazier sounds familiar. Betty Bevins. Carolyn Applegate. There's a bunch of people in here. Wasn't that something?
We have a lot of fun.
Oh, I bet you do.
Especially
Georgia
the man who wrote the story about riding on a horse, and then we find out that he's talking about the mechanical horse at Walmart.
Oh, no kidding.
You've probably read his stories in the letters to the editor.
Who
He's
is it?
really great.
I've seen it. Is it who I think it is?
Waldo
Yeah, Raldo.
Raldo
Raldo Keller.
Keller.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Very.
Here it is, R.F. Keller.
Uh-huh.
The Snake in Granny's Clothespin Bag. That sounds like a good title right there. Very good. Diana Stone Rock. She's out in South Webster, where I live. I live in South Webster. Loretta McClure.
Oh, do you know Kathy Hamilton?
Kathy Hamilton. I know.
Knowlton's their name now.
I know Hamilton's out there. They live across the street from the
School.
Yeah.
Well, that's my
Is
cousin.
that him? Is that your cousin?
Uh-huh.
Well, we're neighbors. Is there anything else you'd like to share here? Let's see now. This looks like some Army.
You know, that was my
Data.
letter of discharge.
Oh, your little district. Yes. This is the letter to you saying good luck.
Mm-hmm.
These are your orders, probably of discharge.
And we always got copy after copy.
I know. I've been there. Oh, that's interesting. You have all your orders, don't you?
Right. They
What?
told us to keep them, though.
You might need them someday, right?
Well, they did come in handy.
I'll bet they have.
I go to the VA clinic now, so.
What do you have here? Is this a photo album?
Yes. Some pictures that were taken in Puerto Rico. When we attended our theater was open, and
Is that you?
that's me.
Are you having a beer there, or what are you doing?
No, I'm not drinking a beer.
You're drinking a Coke. Is that
There's
the
a picture
officer?
in there of me drinking out of a coconut milk.
Is that the officers' club or what?
Yes, that was in Ponce.
I know Ponce. Ponce figured in the Spanish-American War. Did they have any Spanish-American War memorabilia around there?
Yeah, there's Sir Francis Drake.
Uh,
Drake Lighthouse or something.
Uh-huh.
There's more in there.
There we are drinking out of a coconut.
Uh-huh.
What are you drinking out of that coconut?
Coconut milk.
Uh-huh.
We opened it.
Is that your boyfriend?
No, that was our
Your CO?
doctor. It was on the ship as we were going over.
Those are interesting pictures. Bring back a lot of memories, don't they?
Uh-huh. When we go to the theater, see how it was open?
That's
We'd
what
always
you meant by open
take
theater.
a raincoat because it might rain for 10 minutes and then clear up. So you always wanted your raincoat.
What did they show at the theater? Was it movies?
Uh-huh.
Did they show
Let's
movies?
see. Uh-huh.
Like
And we
going-
had our bowling alley. I
Like going
think it
to-
only cost like 10 cents.
10 cents at the bowl.
Uh-huh. Right.
Very good. Very nice.
Yes.
You?
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, where are you?
And it was an old castle where our hospital was, and this was the open courtyard.
What was the name of the castle? Morro Castle?
Elma. Uh-huh.
El Morro. I'd love to go there. Have you ever been back?
No, I'd like to.
Do you want to go back, you say?
Yes. And here's the turrets.
Yes. El Morro
It's where
Castle.
Teddy Roosevelt fought or something.
Yeah, the Spanish-American War was there.
And this was my roommate,
Uh-huh.
Conjuga. She was from Cincinnati. I lost a lot of my pictures, but
Did you?
in the fire.
In a fire? Oh,
Mhm.
thank God. That's very nice. That's very nice. You know what I noticed over here was something. Is this you?
Yes.
That's a beautiful picture.